This is Trey EZIM, and you watching Gems in the Rock. Gems in the Rock Basketball Edition. We got a guest that's been putting in work for years in Rochester, New York. Let the whole audience know who you are and what position you play.
Tony Scott, came out of East High School, class of 1988, was one of the top 30 in the country. Was afforded an opportunity to earn a full scholarship at Syracuse University, play for Jim Boeheim.
That's what's up.
And just love giving back to young people to chase their dreams now. And that's where it all started. I started at East High School for playing for a guy by the name of Sal Rizzo, God rest his soul.
And what position you played?
The position that I played was, I was a big guard back then. You know, it was, everybody plays how I play now. You know, I was 6'8", you know, running the floor, could hit jump shot, could take it to the basket, could post up, you know, which is kind of common now, but that was 30 years ago.
What was it like when you was, you know, developing your skill set when you're that tall and you have a coach that probably would want to tell you to go down to the post or whatever the case? What was your mindset to saying, you know, I belong up here with these guards?
Well, it's funny how that all transpired.
You know what I'm saying?
You know, I might have been about 160 pounds soaking wet with a couple rocks in my pocket. I don't know. You know, so back then, little shorter dudes, little, you know, stocky guys would push you off the post. And if you wanted to score the basketball, you better be able to, you know, shoot it. So I always wanted to, you know, I was a very offensive-minded person, you know, so I just started shooting and shooting and shooting and shooting and shooting, you know, in the driveway and, you know, everywhere. Everywhere I could go, I just had the basketball, I just kept shooting it. So it didn't matter where you pushed me, I was going to make sure I could get my shot off.
They said that you was a perimeter shooter. I was researching, doing a little bit of you know, background checks on you. I just wanted to read a little bit, see what stands out in terms of how they describe you. Tony Scott was a tall, skinny shooter from Rochester, New York. He was touted as an outstanding perimeter shooter with a high arching shot and was effective with limited playing time and the capacity of a perimeter shooter of for 2 seasons. He was a valuable reserve during his sophomore season, averaging nearly 6 points a game. Unfortunately, his first 2 seasons saw him sit behind talented upperclassmen such as Derrick Coleman and Stephen Thompson.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. And fellow classmates Billy Owens and Dave Johnson. So what was it like, you know, making that transition, that jump from East, you know, where you pretty much dominated in Rochester, and then you had to go to like Syracuse and just pretty much start over again?
It's an interesting transition. You know, it's funny looking back 30 years, and you often look back and you wonder what could you have done differently, but you have the privilege of life experiences now that you didn't have then, and understanding that time and chance happens to everyone. That you just have to continue to put in the work and trust the process.
Right.
So it wasn't that you wasn't gifted, because if you wasn't gifted, you wouldn't have been there.
Exactly.
You know, but there is a time that your season would come, you know, and a lot of people like immediate gratification. And I went to Syracuse at a time when Coach was able to go and pick anybody in the country he wanted.
Right.
You know, it's not like it is today. Today, it would probably be like your Duke or your Kentucky, you know, schools that's getting a lot of the one-and-done type guys.
Yeah.
You know, I played with 2, you know, lottery picks, you know, with Derrick Coleman and Billy O. You know, Derrick was actually he's probably the best player I've ever played with or seen on a day-to-day basis play.
Right.
You know, 6'10", wasn't nothing that he couldn't do. You know, so you kind of understand, you know, sitting beside or behind a person of that caliber who was the #1 draft pick overall in the NBA draft. And then Billy was if I'm not mistaken, number 3 overall in his draft class. And then my buddy Dave Johnson was also, you know, a first-round draft pick out to Portland.
What was it like, you know, going to Syracuse in the midst of, you know, legendary, rest in peace, Pearl Washington? You know, what was the whole atmosphere like when you was going in, when Pearl vibe was there? Was you around when?
Yeah, I came a year after. So Sherman was my point guard, the general. When I say just an awesome point guard, and then you saw that when he went to the NBA. I mean, guys who wasn't all-stars like Ronnie Cycling now is an all-star because of his ability to get you the ball where you need it. But there was definitely an aura around Syracuse University that Pearl, God rest his soul, left at that university. That's still there.
Yeah.
You know, he was exciting to watch. He was definitely a superstar in his own right. He was fun to watch. He's a very charismatic guy.
Right.
You know, just he was just great people. I mean, if you was fortunate enough to be back, you know, in New York City.
Yeah, Boys and Girls High School.
Yeah,
The Boys and Girls.
No longer around.
That's right.
You know, but just to be around him back in his stomping grounds, to see, you know, the respect that, you know, that he received. Like, I don't know if your viewers is going to know about 155th, you know, down, you know, at the Rucker Park, you know, and we go down and just the crowd and how he commanded people. It was like, he was definitely.
I mean, he commanded with the signature spin crossover and in and out, what have you.
He had some of the sickest handles.
I
mean, he would come in and he would hit you with that little chicken wing.
Right.
You know, bam!
Right.
You know, just hit you right up. You know, back then the game was a lot more physical.
Right.
You know, so, you know, he would get you rocking, and then as soon as you would reach, he was able to get up under you and hit you with a little forearm and then go by. You know what I'm saying? And hit that little funny little jump shot that he had. But just his handles are very deceptive with the ball. As much as he was one hell of a ball player, he was even a greater person.
Yeah. How come he didn't make it to the league? Just, you know, in your opinion. I mean,
why he didn't stick?
Yeah, why didn't he stick in the league, right? I should say.
I think a lot of times, you know, with New York City guys, the pressure of the city, of coming home and performing, I mean, because he was with New Jersey, I think the pressures of, you know, people wanting tickets, people wanting you to come and hang out, and it's now a job. It's your, you know, this is what you do.
Right.
And I think trying to balance it all may have became a problem.
Okay. I'm gonna continue reading something that I had researched and see where you go with this. They said that you transferred, I believe.
Yeah, I transferred out of Syracuse after my sophomore year, right after the NCAA tournament.
Gotcha.
I ended up going down to Texas A&M, and all hell broke loose. Wow.
So what was the transferring process like? What did you have to go through? Did you have to go through the same thing? What made you want to transfer? Like
patience. You know, or the lack thereof, shall I say? The lack thereof. You know, you just see things through such a narrow lens at 19 years old. Yeah. You know, where you've grown accustomed to things being a certain way. You know, and I played for a high school coach that whatever he said, he meant it. It was no politics involved.
He was direct.
He was very direct, very straight shooter. When you go to the collegiate level, there is some politics. Doesn't mean that they're a bad person. Doesn't mean that they're a liar. But there is some, you know, politics that go on with that. And when you are a young person that's not willing to sit and wait your turn and not understand the politics of it, you start making choices out of your emotions. Right. And I think when I look back at that March, I think it was March 25th, somewhere thereabouts, that I made one of the most craziest decisions of my life out of my emotions. You know, so I look and I often tell even my own kids, wait till you calm down to make a choice. Right. Because right now it looks like A or B, but you don't really see beyond that choice that you're getting ready to make and what it's gonna, how it's gonna, you know, devastate your life. You know, I definitely feel as if it costed me playing in the NBA. I mean, did you play professionally? I played, 7 years.
Right.
Overseas, played Spain, Turkey, Hong Kong, thanks to Joe Binion. He got me my first job, in Spain, where I averaged probably about 25, 26 before, getting injured, have an operation on my foot, but then was able to regroup, heal up, go back and finish playing, and averaged over my career overseas over 30 points a game.
So, what did Binion, do? Shout out to Joe Binion, another Rochester gym from the town. I'm just curious, what kind of mode you was in? Was you like in the funk where Binion just picked you up? Did you just stop believing in yourself? And what made you just come back full circle to wanting to continue on your journey with your basketball career?
Well, two things happened. I never lost confidence in my ability. I mean, after you've gone and played against some of the best players in the world at that time and more than held your own, it's going to be hard to lose the confidence. Right, Not to be haughty or arrogant, but you're just confident in what it is that you can do. And on the stage and to what magnitude you can do it. You start realizing the gravity of the choices that you make and how it's going to impact your life. And you start looking at it like, dang, I thought I was going to be able to buy this type of house. I thought I was going to be able to drive this type of ride. But now, dang, like I'm low-key going to have to like work for somebody. I was watching this little meme on, or this little video on Facebook the other day, to digress for a second, and a little kid, he was doing word problems. And he was reading, he said, Bruce had $1, he has 1 quarter and like 2 pennies. How much money does Bruce have? And the kid goes, Bruce is broke. You know what I'm saying? So I think for me, what I wrestled with was that statement that kid made, which was, here it is, you have the talent to bring in millions of dollars a year, but your choices made you not bring them in.
Hope you enjoyed the show. This is the first show. We're going to have some more of these, different volumes, different people, different athletes. Hit me up on the inbox. Don't be afraid. I know a lot of you, some of you I don't know, some of you I've heard of, some of you I need to hear of. So however you want to look at it, this is Gems in the Rock. Stay tuned for more action, more stories, and we out.